Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to start finally recording videos again and doing all these sets. I have just been so discouraged because of the pandemic and all that, but now I'm back, and what a better time to start recording sets than fall and Halloween sets, which is what we're doing today. We're going to be doing a fall set. It's basically September, which means it's basically Halloween. So those are the only sets that I'll probably be posting from now on. So let's just get right into it. So first I'm going to start off with my Nailsbyjocee drill bit. This is the ball bit, and all you're going to do with this one is just remove and loosen any dead skin that's on the nail plate after you push it back with the cuticles. I forgot to record that part because I wasn't intending to record this set, but yeah, so you're just gonna do that at a low speed on all 10 nails, and you're not gonna take very long on this part. It doesn't need to take a long time. If you did do this continuously and for a long period of time on a high setting, then you're most likely to cause rings of fire on your client's nails, which are the divots that I'm sure everyone at some point has had on their natural nails, and that's what causes it, is too much friction and pressure on the drill bit. So now we're going to go in with a fine grit sanding band, and we're just going to go in also at a low speed. And this part does not take long. You do not want to do it for more than, I would say, 10 seconds on each nail, because it can cause pressure and heat to your client's nails. If you've ever gotten your nails done and they started to burn or hurt, this is why, because the nail tech is using it for too long on your natural nail. You're not removing any layers of skin or of the nail plate. People always think that the drill is like the devil, and it's not. All you're doing right here is just getting rid of the natural oil on the nail, and that's it. And you're only doing 10 seconds, so it's not removing any type of layer whatsoever. When I was in nail school, they really looked down on using the drill, but I think it's just really worth it. It's worth the investment. I've tried high-end drills that are like $300, $400, and in my opinion, I think they work as good as, the $100 ones. I use the Nailsbyjocee Scarlet nail drill, and it works for me just fine. I've been using it for over a year, and it's worked for me perfectly. So now we're just going to go in with our cuticle nipper, and this is very intimidating for people to use at first. I honestly did not use this for about a good 2 years because I just didn't know how to do it. They didn't really show us in nail school, and when I was on my own practicing after I left, I was just very scared to cut anyone. But I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I just practiced a lot on myself and good friends. So if I did cut anyone, it was me or someone I'm close to. But yeah, so just practice with these, and they're just so easy to use after you get used to them. There's a certain angle that you have to tilt these. You're not using the whole straight metal thing, if that makes sense. You're only basically using the tip to cut it. So once you kind of get that through your head, you're gonna be fine. So now I'm just going to dust off the nails real quick, and then I'm going to grab my Cheyenne Nails nail tips. I love these. I like using Nails and Blinks tips and these tips and BT Art Box tips. I always go between those three. I recommend that when you're starting nails, try all the nail tips you can. And when you find the ones that you like, just stick with them, and usually have 2 or 3 as a backup, because a lot of times nail tips don't come in refill sizes, so you have to continuously buy the whole package, which for me, honestly, I really don't mind. So yeah, so I like these tips because they're long, and lately my clients have been wanting long nails. And they just work easier. There's not a real deep seat curve. I hate those tips that are very seat curvish. I don't know, for me, I just can't get the acrylic on the side, and then I have to cut it extra, and I don't know. With these, I don't have to do any of that. So this is why I really like these, because they're already long, and you don't really have to do much shaping wise once you cut them to the size. So when you're sizing your clients' nail beds, you want to make sure that you're holding their nails straight, and you want to make sure that it fits sidewall to sidewall. If it's too small, even though you glue it down and put the acrylic on top, it could end up popping off and not lasting as long. And obviously the goal for nails is to last as long as possible, or give your clients good retention, which is what you should strive for. And if you're in between sizes, so say a size is too small, but the next size is too big, you can always go with the bigger size and then file it on the sides. It's better to do that because then it'll fit right instead of not fitting right and then eventually popping off. Okay, so now I'm just gonna compare them to each other, and if one's longer, I'm just gonna cut it down like so and just measure them. I remember when I first started doing nails, I would bring out the ruler and make sure they were the same exact millimeters. That is doing too much. You don't need to do that. You just have to look at it. You'll get an eye for it when you start doing it more and more. But, you know, if later down the line you're doing the filing the acrylic or whatever and you realize that one's longer than the other just a little bit, you can always go ahead and file it. It's okay. So now I'm going to go in with my 180 grit file, and I always use the more coarse side, so that's the side without the brand or the numbers, and to get that sharper file, which is what clients like. They like that crispy shape. So you always want to make sure to de-sharpen the sides. So just take another file and kind of like how they do with knives, if that makes sense, to sharpen it, but you're going to de-sharpen it this way just so when you're filing on the side walls of the client, you're not going to cut them. So after I file them and get them shaped, I like to take my sanding band, the same one that you used before was fine, and I just like to use it also at a very low speed to just kind of take down the side walls, because sometimes the tips on the walls are a little bit bigger. So this is so when you put your acrylic application, it's a little more smoother, and I just find it easier this way. So after filing and dusting off the nails, I'm going to go in with my dehydrator and primer. And a lot of people say you don't need to use dehydrator or primer, you can just use primer. I like to use both. I've always used both. That's just the way that I've always been. And my clients' nails last a long time. But I know people who just use primer and their nails also last a long time, but I just use both. Why not? So now I'm going to, when I put my brush in there, I'm going to kind of hold it down on the bottom just to get rid of any air bubbles. So I'm going to go in with this pretty red color by Sugar and Cream. And if you're a nail tech, you know that red, black, and very white color is super hard to work with. So before I was doing this set, I was debating if I should do a clear base and then do polish over it, just because I hate working with these pigmented colors because they always they don't ruin it, but they make it a huge mess and it's just harder to work with. And then you got to go in and encapsulate it. So you'll see me lay down and kind of like just paint the nail and cover the whole thing. And then when that dries, then I'll go back and I'll build on it with clear acrylic. And that's usually what I do when I have very pigmented colors, or like I said, I'll just use polish. But either way, they both come out cute. But I just decided to do it this way because I didn't even know that I had this color acrylic and I thought it was pretty. So I just wanted to see how it worked, and it works pretty good. It's not very stainy. I think the only ones it kind of stained were the thumbs, but I ended up covering it with rhinestones, and you'll see that at the end. But yeah, so I don't do a certain amount of beads. I just do whatever, and I'm always looking kind of at the sides just to make sure that it doesn't have a lump. I know with these like no long C-curve tips, if you look from the side, it's kind of like has a divot in the middle, and if you use these, you know what I'm talking about, where you have to kind of build on it a little bit more. So that's what I mean by that. But these tips work great and I love them. So I think on a few of these nails I'm gonna do some red, and then the other ones I'm gonna do some beige, and you'll just see me do that throughout the whole 10 nails. For this nude color, I'm using Valentino Beauty Pure Peaches and Cream. I go back and forth between this one and Perfect Nude. If you're a nail tech, you probably have Perfect Nude because that is really literally the perfect nude. It's more of a pink tone nude. I use that for my ombres, but I kind of wanted a little bit of a darker, not so pink nude, so that's why I chose this one. Okay, so now after application, I'm gonna start on the finger that I originally started with, the pinky, and I'm just gonna file. And you just wanna make sure you're looking at it from all angles. And at the end, I turn the hand over and I file straight that way, just to make sure that from my view and from their view, it's very crispy. So I'm just gonna do the same thing on how I did with shaping the tips. So after shaping, I'm gonna go in with my Nailsbyjocee drill bit. These are the ceramic ones. I really like using the ceramic ones. I don't know why, I've just always stuck with them. They last for me. I've tried the metal ones and honestly, I don't like them. I don't know why, but these are just what works for me. But I recommend that when you're a new nail tech, you know, just try everything and see what works for you, because what works for me or what works for another nail tech might not work for you. There really is no right or wrong way to do nails. When it comes to products, it's all trial and error, and that's what I feel like a lot of people get really discouraged coming in the nail industry, is because it's so much. You have to buy a million gel polish colors, you have to buy a million, you know, acrylic colors, you got to buy all these rhinestones. But I recommend that if you're a beginner, what I did is I just started off by having, you know, clear acrylic and the primary colors of polish. But I recommend to just go in and start investing in gel polish right away or clear acrylic, because One, it's going to last you longer. Once you put it in the UV lamp, you know, you take it out, put the top coat, it's dry. You don't have to worry about people leaving and then coming back and it's all smudged. I really don't do many sets with gel polish, though. I personally like the look of doing sets with colored acrylic, just because I feel like when I used to do sets with gel polish, you know, it kind of lost its shape a little bit. But when you are a more experienced nail tech, you kind of get used to how to keep that shape still. So I do gel polish for fills only, but not for original sets. So now I'm going in with my sanding band, and I like to use this to just go around the whole nail and kind of smooth it out. I don't really like using the buffing blocks. I don't know why, this just works for me, but some people like using the buffing blocks, some people don't, but this just smooths it all out for me. And then I go over the cuticle area just a few times to seal it even more, just to make sure they last. So now I'm going to spray these with a cleanser I got from Cosmoprof. I'm pretty sure it's just acetone and alcohol. But you can do this. You can put acetone on a paper towel and just wipe it all off. That's what I was doing before I got the spray, but it just kind of cleanses off all the dust and whatnot. So now I'm going to go in with just the white polish, and I'm just going to start this plaid design on one nail on this hand and then one nail on the other hand. So I'm going to cover the whole nail that I want to do some pixies on in IBD gel, just to secure them really good. When I do full nails like this of the pixies, I use actual gel and not rhinestone glue. But when I do use rhinestone glue, I use the Zule glue, the bling adhesive. If you're a nail tech and you have this, you know exactly how the bottle gets after a few uses. But it's a really good glue. But just for today's set, I just am using the gel adhesive because my glue bottle is like shut and I need to take some clippers or something and get all the glue out the bottle. But so I'm gonna scatter some rhinestones and then I'm just gonna sprinkle the pixies over. And I got this cute little thing from Amazon that kind of holds it, that grabs it when I pour it, and glitter. And I should have got one of these a long time ago, but I didn't even know they existed. So before I was getting like them everywhere, but this was a huge money saver. So now I'm going in with the OPI Stay Shiny top coat. Originally, I like to use the IBD gel top coat. I've tried other top coats from bigger brands, and I don't know what it is about the IBD gel top coat, but I just find it more clear, if that makes sense, when you put it on. But I ran out, so I had to go to the store real quick to Cosmoprof, and this is the only one that they had in stock, the OPI one. The OPI one works good too, but it's a cleanse top coat, which means when you put it on, you have to remove the tacky layer afterwards, and then it's good. But I like the no cleanse top coat, which is the IBD gel one, but this one does the job. So now you're just going to see me rip off a piece of paper towel and put some acetone on it and just remove the sticky layer. And once you do this, the nails are good to go. And to put cuticle oil on. Now I'm just going to put cuticle oil. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see certain videos, just let me know. These are how they came out. And don't forget to like and subscribe.